Yo.
Yo, how's it going, guys? Welcome back. We have a special guest today. This is our good friend Mariah Mancuso. If you know me and Enzo, we are pretty big fans of Star Wars. I've grown up on it like since I was a little kid. I got Enzo on it when we were in like middle and high school, but Mariah has been recently going through it over the past 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, something like that. It's been a while.
Yeah. And she just completed the was it the Skywalker Saga, or did you get through like Rogue One, Solo, or
So I watched Rogue One, wasn't a huge fan, and I got about 20 minutes into Solo, and I was like, I can't do it. I
okay.
want to give it
That's
another
crazy.
shot, though. I want to
Yeah.
give it
You
another
should.
shot.
You should. You're a
Yeah.
big
I
Han
should.
Solo fan,
I
so
love Han Solo.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do today is we are going to go through the entire Skywalker Saga, the original 9 movies, and we're all going to rank them from 9 to 1.
yeah. The great part about Star Wars is that like literally like talk to any two Star Wars fans and you will hear like the most like difference in
Yeah.
opinions. Which we think is good. Like there's a lot of like really mean Star Wars fans out there, and I like to think that we're not like that. But I'm excited. Over the years, I've accumulated a lot of Star Wars crap. I have like a blanket right there hung over the door. I have my BB-8 cup that I got from Disney. Obi-Wan's like Starfighter Lego here. I got a bunch of like little tchotchkes, but I'm wearing a Chewie shirt also. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about it. And Mariah just finished episode 9. When did you watch it?
Last week.
Last week, and
Wow.
I think like you texted me, you're like, I'm finally done with all of it, but you didn't hard launch your opinions on
No.
everything just yet. We were saving that for the podcast.
This is exciting. So
Yeah.
this is like we're hardcore embargo drop Mariah
I
Mancuso's
know.
Star
This has
Wars.
been
Yeah.
like this has been like a year or two in the making. Like I've kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
every time I finished a movie, I would get like an update from it, So and hear the
Hmm.
I would only
yeah, hear
catch
the
some of
updated
it,
opinions.
like on Letterboxd, because like some of it, like you would review, some of it you just give like a
Yeah,
ranking. But like, yeah, the last couple I haven't
sporadic,
seen any, so this is
sporadic
exciting. I
letterbox
don't
user.
really know where I don't really know where this is gonna fall. So
Yeah.
this is exciting.
Yeah, and along the way, like Mariah will give her ranking, we'll give our thoughts, and we'll give our rankings too. We'll just have a, conversation, kind of. That's kind of
Yeah.
how this is going to go today.
Great.
So,
Great.
yeah. So without further ado, Mariah, do you want to get started on what your thought? What do you have at the bottom of the list for
Okay.
your Star Wars ranking?
Do either of you want to guess what I have at the top of the list and see how accurate you are, or do you just want me to start?
Just
I
start.
could guess.
I feel
Oh,
like I have a good idea, but I think we should save that for the end.
okay,
Okay.
okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Bottom of the list, I don't think anyone's surprised. I have Phantom Menace. If I'm being completely honest with you,
Interesting.
I was like softcore bullied into watching Star Wars to start. Cam, my
Oh, you
boyfriend and
started.
our good friend,
I'm sorry, you started with episode 1, right?
yes. So I was gonna
Oh,
say, my dad is like a big Star Wars guy, like from the start, and he was very upset that I was starting with episode one. He's like, "You have to do
mm,
four, five, six, one, two, three." I don't have an opinion about that at all. I think both ways are fine. Phantom Menace, I was just bored. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was just a little bored. I didn't really
I
understand what was going on.
I
Yeah.
agree. I
I
have that at the
yeah.
bottom of mine as well.
Really? That's your
Yeah.
number 9?
Yeah, I mean like
Interesting.
I don't dislike it, but it's just like I enjoy myself watching all the other ones more.
Interesting.
I feel
Yeah,
like the really cool moments in episode 1 are few. They're there, but they're few and far between.
that's fair. I mean, Phantom Menace was that was something I enjoyed like much more as a kid. Um and like I feel like it does have like more appeal towards younger audiences because of like the pod racing and stuff like that. People relate to Anakin Skywalker, but also I feel like I'm gonna agree with both of you. The most exciting part about it is uh Duel of the Fates. And then just the final fight in space against the Viceroy. That's literally just copying A New Hope, which then The Force Awakens also copies
Now
later
this is
on.
pod racing.
Now this is pod racing, exactly. And it's just the plot, it doesn't really make sense. It like starts itself off as this new earlier era of Star Wars that's really deep into like politics. So it's like a weird shift. It's unbalanced, and I feel it there's just potential for it to have been so much better. But that's something that I also like have grown to like less over time.
Right. How do you do like because I don't know if like I all my life I've been like really bad at paying attention to movies until like fairly recently. And when I like watched the prequels for the first time, I was like so confused by like the plots because I feel like they're very overcomplicated and are about politics and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
how are you with following that?
I barely did. Cam paused
Like,
it a lot and was showing me like Clone War episodes.
oh,
That I
okay.
feel like was supposed to add context but made me more confused. I don't think I actually started to like enjoy it until Revenge of the Sith. And
Mm,
truthfully, sometimes I just enjoy Star Wars more for the side plots than the politics. Like, I love the love
yeah,
stories. I
Mhm.
love the friendship. I love how silly everything is sometimes. And like the first two, I was just like, all right, guys, like, let's move on. And because Anakin's
Yeah.
like, he's still like, not evil. So, what is there to be had
What's the
about
drama?
him? You know what I mean? And like, I
Yeah.
guess I don't know. Like, I just didn't really like didn't care about it all that much. And I was like, yeah, people are right. These prequels kind of suck, but it got better.
Yeah, and I've noticed this about like especially the prequel trilogy. Um, the on paper the story for it is so good, but I feel like the execution, like there's a lot of stuff that could have been a lot better.
yeah,
I still like it might be my favorite trilogy. I don't know. I adore the prequel trilogy, but like I think of like how much heavy lifting is episode three doing, and just
right.
like the background lore, the stuff that isn't really shown in the movies, but like that you find out just through like reading between the lines or like watching the Clone Wars. Like there's a really good story there. I just feel like the movies don't portray that all the time.
I feel the
Mhm.
biggest misfire with Phantom Menace starting that all off was honestly just showing Anakin as a little boy. Because the whole thing is like, oh well, he's slave to Watto, and they're like, oh no, he's too old to be trained, but he's the
I
exact
hate Wada.
he looks like equivalent to every other Padawan shown at the Jedi Temple. So I feel like it would
Mm.
have been cool to see him as like maybe an early teenager, and then like back to what you were saying with the execution, like I feel the movies were the parts in between the more interesting parts. Like we want to see Anakin train with Obi-Wan, and we want to see him fight in the Clone Wars. And then they ultimately did release that show, but I haven't seen it. And there's just
I
so much. It just feels too overwhelming to just
Mm.
dive into that for me at least.
I feel like if this was made, like even 20 years later, this would all just be a mini series on Disney Plus. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah,
They would have been
It
like,
would.
there's no need for this to be in theaters.
it totally would.
Let's just do this as like an 8 part mini series.
An
So
entire Jar Jar episode. Just
I
I
kind of
love
love
Jar
him
ah.
Jar.
though.
No, I love Jar Jar. Every time I watch Phantom Menace, I like Jar Jar more.
Like
I'm like,
unironically. No,
yeah. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I
No,
don't know what's going on.
I firmly believe that every single Star Wars movie has one little guy that everyone loves. And I just went over
It's
to
in the
Cam. He's like,
contract.
yeah, he's like, because they want to make money on merch. I said, that's not all. We all just need a little guy to emotionally attach to. Unless it's the original trilogy, then it's a big guy and it's Chewbacca. But
Mm.
you always need like a little guy. Yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, all right. So, bottom of the list, your introduction to the franchise, Phantom Menace. That's like the main reason. Like, I don't think you should start chronologically. I think it's best to go like release order so you get an idea of
I would
like
have to
what the
agree with
universe
that.
is before
Yeah.
you see like episode one because it's a little strange. But I could definitely see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So what's
Why don't we move on
next?
to number 8? Yeah.
It's no surprise Attack of the Clones.
Oh,
Okay.
It's
oh
just another one
no.
I just listen. The only part of that movie that I actually enjoy is when they're getting married and like they're in that like beautiful little like outdoor area. I like that
Mm,
he doesn't
that's
like
gorgeous.
sand. It's so ridiculous. I love that sequence of it, but if you asked me like what's the plot of that movie, I don't know.
Mhm.
Couldn't tell you. And yeah, I was bored watching it until there was some
It
sort of love story part of it. But then it's like kind of weird. Like, let's dissect
yeah.
that. That's like, I don't know.
Another
I don't
reason where
know.
like Phantom Menace kind of fumbles that because it shows a very visible age difference. And then even that like
Mhm.
it even if you hadn't seen it, it probably would be fine. But with the context that she's much older than him, it's like,
Yeah.
what is going
Mhm.
on
Well,
here? Like
they met what he was 9 and she was 14 or
14,
something.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
woof.
Right. Have
Yeah.
you ever heard Weird Al's parody of American Pie? And it's about
No,
Phantom Menace.
I have not.
You have to listen to it. It's really good.
All right.
Yeah, it's very good. It's called The Saga Begins. It's fantastic.
I will have to check that out. Yeah. I think my other like gripe with Attack of the Clones, this is my own personal gripe. I went like 21 years of my life not knowing that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. I don't know how I kept that spoiler free. I just
That's
didn't know.
awesome.
It must be
I
amazing to be
wish
you. Like
I don't know how I avoided this. Like I just didn't know. I wish I knew that happened because I would have paid more attention like just as like someone who really likes film and like script writing
Mhm.
about Padme and Anakin being Luke and Leia's parents because what I had such an appreciation for it later on, like during the original trilogy, but I wish I had an appreciation for it back then.
And I think part of that is kind of what we were talking about earlier, where like there's more between the lines. There's
Mhm.
what you get in the movie from their relationship, it's good, but like it doesn't fully scratch that itch and really get into the drama that it should, I feel like. Where it's
yeah.
like this this forbidden romance and he's like he's this hero but he's being like tempted to the dark side and everything and she's like trying to keep him like trying to keep him in the light while still managing her own responsibility. Like there's a lot of like really really interesting stuff there that they like touch on, but never really gets as deep as I feel like it should. That being said,
Yeah.
I love episode 2. Like they just like prime corny George Lucas Star Wars, and like that's something that like I feel like is gone from the franchise now. I feel like it's very serious and the silly stuff in this movie, like when Obi-Wan goes to like the 50s diner and talks to like the fat alien with like a greasy white t-shirt
Yeah.
and he tells him about the clones. Like what is happening? Like what's going on here? It's so silly, but then it's like I love the whole is it Geonosis? Is that the planet that the Colosseum at the end?
I believe
Like
so.
there's like the big Jedi fight and like that's what I love. Like
Like that
I think
was all,
that's a big
yeah.
that's a big reason why I love the prequels is because like I love the concept of there being like millions of Jedis and like this movie really delivers on that. So for that like for the corny reasons and just like the popcornness of this movie, I like this is one that I look at very fondly, but I definitely get why people don't like it as much.
I have more of uh like nostalgic reasons for liking this one for me is like more towards like the middle of my ranking. Like um when I was younger, every time I would go over to my grandparents' house, that they would like have just this random selection of like 7 out of 10 movies. We got like Ice Age, Shrek. Well, Shrek is better than 7 out of 10. It was like always
Okay.
Ice Age, Shrek, A Bug's Life, and then Attack of the Clones. It was the only Star Wars that we watched. So like the
Great
first
selection.
20 to 30 to maybe even like 45 minutes, like up until Obi-Wan gets captured, is like ingrained in my mind. So like the whole chase between Anakin and the assassin after they try to when they release those slugs to like get Padme in the beginning, like that is just like that
The
that is
assassin
childhood right
slugs.
there. Yeah, the
Mm.
assassin slugs. Um,
That we
but
never see prior or after.
right, yeah. But like I feel there's a lot of good, again, as with the rest of the prequel trilogy, there's a lot of good concepts and it sets them up, but there's like not much good execution. It's like, hey, this is the clones, and then oh, Obi-Wan's gonna like, have a chase him, and they're gonna have like there's gonna be some tension, but oh, he's gonna get captured, and then he's gonna meet Anakin and Padme there after they roll around in the grass and talk about how much he doesn't like sand. Like this is probably the worst dialogue of like all of these 9 movies, I think. This
Yeah,
isn't how people talk.
I get really itchy when I watch them roll around in that grass. Like every single time, like it makes me cringe. And then when he says, like, oh, I'd be much too frightened to tease a senator, bro, wait till you see what you do in the next one. Because
Right.
you take it to a whole different level. I don't know, like something about it. And Enzo, to your point about it, like not being goofy, like there's something so endearing about OG Star Wars when they're supposed to be like a stunt and it cuts to like a petite man in space buns doing a flip, and then it cuts back to Princess Leia. That's just like, oh, I love it. And no
It's
amount of like
great.
PowerPoint transitions in like the
Oh,
prequels will do that for me. But yeah, like if I grew up in this movie, I think this one would have been my favorite, but unfortunately, this one came into my life a little bit too late.
I
okay,
think
okay.
this definitely is also the one out of the entire Skywalker saga that has the most CGI, and because of that, like it's aged the worst because it's all like 2002. Like they only
Mhm.
had like
Mhm.
what? Like this came out 3 years after Phantom Menace, so they probably had like 1 to 2 years to like animate the whole thing, and it
There's some
doesn't
shots in
look
this,
great.
like some of the shots where like there's no real life elements in them, where like it's just spaceships or like it's just like the CGI clones,
Yeah.
were indistinguishable from like the show, the Clone Wars. They're like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if this is a frame from episode 2 or from the cartoon. Like, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, and Mariah, like you said, the Anakin Padme romance and stuff. You're more of a fan of the Han Leia romance, right? And we'll get to this
I
when we talk
love
about.
them.
Okay, all right.
Don't even get
I
me
thought I knew that.
started. Yes,
All right, we will be getting started on
very
that
soon.
soon enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So bottom of the list, we got episodes 1 and 2. That's pretty seems to be pretty universal. At least
Well,
until the sequels came out because
Yeah.
people like to put the sequels down there. But what do you have next, Mariah?
I have The Last Jedi. And
Okay,
so
all
this
right.
Yeah.
is like when I watched the prequels, I wasn't, I don't, well, I'd taken a screenwriting class, but I feel like I was still watching movies from the lens of like just an audience member. Now I'm in my master's program for screenwriting and creative writing. So I feel like I'm sort of in the zone. I just didn't understand the purpose of Poe and Finn all that much in this movie. Everything felt random. I hate Luke Skywalker. Oh my God. I
I
hate
don't
Luke Sky.
understand that.
It's my
Hey,
worst opinion. Oh, we'll go more into it in the original trilogy. But it's just like, what are we like? Stop whining! Oh my God, stop whining! And is this the one, or is it the last one where we figure out that like he tries to slime his nephew at Jedi camp? Which one is that?
I think that's this one
Yeah.
where like they have like the flashback where like
Oh,
Yes.
wait, yeah.
then he
Justified
had
crash out, Ben. Your uncle
he had like a
tried to
vision that he
slime
was
you.
gonna be evil, right? And then he just like
Yes.
kill him in his sleep.
Crazy. The crazier part about that is that we as the audience are supposed to believe that that is a 14-year-old boy. It's just Adam Driver, and I'm supposed to believe that that is the young man. I
Ripped
really
Adam
didn't
Driver.
like, and I feel like movies have been doing this, and like major blockbusters have been doing this in the last 10 years. They try to kill a character, and then they say, "Oh, never mind." Like they want you to believe this character is going to die. I feel like
Right.
they did it in Guardians 3 with
Yeah,
Star-Lord, when they do
yeah,
this
it was
thing, they make him
awful.
float through space for a couple seconds, and then they're
Oh
like, "Oh, never
yeah.
mind."
Like for
But
no purpose.
Carrie,
Yeah.
yeah, Carrie Fisher had been passed away, so like honestly, they probably could have gotten away with it.
And she
But
flies
like
back to the
Like Mary
so
Poppins.
weird. It was just, yeah, there was just like a lot of parts of this movie that was like, I don't know. Ray and Luke's interactions, it's all just like, you need to help us. Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Luke's like, can't do it. Who are you? And she's like, I'm Ray for the last time. And it's just a lot of that. And that's really what I took out of it. And Poe, like, he kind of like, I don't know, he ticked me off in this one.
No,
It's like, just listen to Princess
yeah,
Leia.
he's
Well, it's kind of
definitely
like
more
he's
unlikable in
got
this film for sure.
yeah, he's kind of like an off-brand Han Solo. Oh,
And you know what? I was going to get into that. We just completely rewrote these characters. And
mm,
I really feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if Harrison Ford doesn't want to come back, maybe don't make a new Han Solo. That's all. Well, more on that later.
more on that later.
That's pretty much all there is to it. But I don't know. I'm reading the novelization of it. I haven't started it. I picked it up at the library this week. So I'm interested to see if
Doing your
that's any
research.
better. Yeah. But also
That's
like
that's thorough.
I was on Rise of the Resistance at Disneyland and Disney World before I watched these movies, which Ethan, you're out there. Galaxy's Edge out there is back to the original timeline. The John Williams scores, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Luke, Anakin,
Wait,
get there if you can.
is that only in
Only in
California? It's not in
Disneyland.
Florida?
I know,
What?
not in Florida, because they know I'm coming. And they said Mariah would be
They
too
couldn't
much.
take it. Couldn't take it.
Couldn't take it. But like Poe on the Rise of the Resistance ride is so cool. He's like, I don't know, he's in the midst of things. And then on like the movies, I'm like, oh, this guy. I don't know.
Mm. Hey,
I'm judging his
Florida.
character too harshly.
No, it's you can. I think the consensus is
Judging Luke
that
Skywalker pretty harshly too.
Oh,
well,
I
here's
will
the
not
thing.
apologize about that.
Here's the thing. I think in The Last Jedi it's justified because Luke Skywalker, at least by the end of Return of the Jedi, is supposed to be this beacon of hope. And then
Hmm.
he's just like a cynical hobo. And he's suddenly a traditionalist, like trying to do things by the book, and then he has like an issue with I don't know, he's like, oh well, justice shouldn't be found at the end of a blade, and then just like, kind of like tosses the lightsaber over his shoulder. I mean, that's another thing. I
Yeah.
do think Rian Johnson was trying to make it like too funny.
Hmm.
I remember like enjoying it and laughing in the theater, but like afterwards I was like, that wasn't like that's not necessarily the
When he's
vibe
milking
here.
the alien,
Yeah, that's
I don't like that
Oh,
part.
mm-mm.
oh my God. When I saw that, like I already didn't like Luke Skywalker and I almost like turned it off. I was like, this was unnecessary.
It's like,
Um, I feel like I need to. This is not my own personal story, but I do need to share this in honor of my friends who saw this movie when they were like, I don't, we were what, like 13 when this came out, and they were with their dad, and you know that part where like Kylo Ren just doesn't have a shirt on all of a sudden, just like
Yeah.
we cut
What?
and their dad went, girls, look away. Because my friends are twins. And then the screen turned off in the movie. The movie broke. Shirtless Kylo Ren single-handedly broke their movie. And I think about that a lot. So when that part came on, I was like, oh my God.
and
I
swallow.
feel like something that, oh my, well, okay, let's talk about this for a second. I'm gonna call out Cam. Cam told me that his name was Ben before I knew that his name was Ben. Now, granted, these movies have been out for a long time, so that's really on me.
Uh,
When he said Ben Swallow, I said, who are you talking about? He mentioned that scene. I said, oh my God, they named him Ben. More on that later. They could have done a little bit more to introduce the fact that Ray and Kylo Ren can like look into each other's thoughts instead of just like, okay, now we can do it. Which I think a lot of like the
Right.
Knives Out like series does that a lot, where it's like you have to be a really quick audience member. Like you need
yeah,
to really be
I,
keeping up.
I
I think
feel
that's a very graceful way to critique that, right? I
Mhm.
mean, because yes, they're the whole relationship and dynamic between Ray and Kylo Ren could have been so much clearer.
Yeah.
Like having watched them all. Granted, it's been a while since I've seen the sequels, but like I don't really know, and we'll talk more as we get into episode 9. I don't know what their vibe is with each other, and I don't really know like what their
yeah.
like force
Hmm.
compatible. They never really
It's just
explain that.
it's really just Rian Johnson like stretching the capabilities of the Force because the Force is this like it's just this unknown being. It's like it's an allegory for religion. It's something you can't like see, touch, taste, photograph, and science can't prove. But then like he's like, oh well, you can do that. And then there was the whole like the Holdo maneuver where like he changed I guess, space physics. He ruined, as the fans will say, he ruined space physics when she like rammed the ship into an entire fleet of Star Destroyers and like into one, and then it just destroyed all of them. I mean, it's a cool shot, but like
Is
another
this the one
thing.
where they're racing horses on the side of the Star Destroyer?
That's
Or
Rise
is
of
that episode 9?
Skywalker.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, the entire movie is basically just Ryan Johnson kind of like undoing a lot of the stuff from The Force Awakens because I feel The Force
Hmm.
Awakens is
Mm.
setting up like a much different story, but J.J. Abrams didn't really provide a roadmap, and that's something we'll talk about when we talk about The Rise of Skywalker. Granted, I do think there are like a couple of good themes in The Last Jedi, even though they're not executed well. I think like the uh the decision to make Rey's parents nobodies, I think that was a good choice because if she's supposed to
Yeah.
be the protagonist of the sequel trilogy, then
Hmm.
It's
like
more
the idea
inspiring
of
to
greatness can come from somebody who's like from nothing. Like that is more inspiring
yeah,
inherently.
until
Um,
the next movie.
until the next movie, and then she
And
has a
they
magic
just
Yeah.
change
grandpa
that.
like every other protagonist in this.
Wait, Mariah, this is there's the one with the casino, right? There's a space casino,
Yes.
and like
There's
He's
a
trying.
there is a
Finn
space casino.
and Rose like save the horses. I remember being a little like, huh? Like, I actually remember being like, what does this have to do with anything?
It's like
The first
starting
time
to
I
get a
watched
Yeah.
little
this.
preachy because then like she goes on a tangent about like the rich and stuff, and it's like, what does this have to do with anything? Um,
To put the Empire, the
Yeah.
First Order.
And I think that these movies were written and produced in a time, maybe at the start of when audiences were like scrolling on phones while they were watching a movie. So a lot of it feels like, oh, we're going to go do this thing because of this. And it's just like, I don't know, a big part of my semester in my screenwriting class was like, trust your audience, trust that they are going to figure it out. There's also a moment in this movie that if I was like a 45-year-old man, I would have cried in the theater because they replay Princess Leia's like, help me, you're my only hope. That like that touched me. And I'm a new viewer. But I also love Princess Leia. And we'll get into that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
a lot
that's
of that,
that's kind of my thoughts on them.
like you said, like the over explaining. I feel like that's a Disney thing.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to say Disney does that in all their movies, but I think with a franchise like Star Wars, it's like they do have a little bit less trust in the audience and they want to maximize like these are money makers, they bought this franchise for so much money and everyone in these movies needs to make billions of dollars. So they're gonna kind of like make it in corporate eyes, make it accessible for everybody and that comes in nostalgia, that comes in like a script that isn't super like nuanced. Um, it's not the worst thing in the world like people make it out to be. I enjoyed this movie the first time I watched it, but no, I definitely see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like when you think about these movies getting released, even like Mandalorian came out, when was that, last weekend?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even think are people really liking Mandalorian that much? It's making
we'll
so
talk
much
about that
money.
later on.
yeah.
I just like, I don't know, trust your audience, trust that they're gonna figure out. I mean, obviously, this is something that my roommate brought to my attention. Actually, when I was at Barnes and Noble a couple weeks ago, I was like, I want to get this book called The Love Hypothesis. And she's like, do you know what that's based on? I said, tell me. Apparently, somebody wrote a fan fiction about Kylo Ren and Rey, and it went so crazy that they wrote a book about it, but like changed the names. And then it went so crazy that they're adapting it to a movie. Isn't that wild?
I might have
And if
heard about
I'm
What?
this.
mixing up this book with another one, I didn't say any of this, but I'm like 99% sure. Wait, I'm gonna look this up. I'm 99% sure this is the love hypothesis.
There's a video
Um,
essay about I think it's this book, um, by Jenny Nicholson actually. Then you know Jenny Nicholson,
I
and
do, yeah.
yeah, it's just about that. I wonder if it's the same book.
yes, it's based on Kylo Ren.
That's
Or as
so
they call it,
funny.
That's
Raylo.
wild.
They weren't in
Raylo.
love enough to call them Raylo. All right. I didn't even know that they really liked each other as people
We'll get
until the
into
very
this.
end.
We'll get into this. Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you think of the noble hero sacrifice of our hero Luke Skywalker in the end of this movie?
I didn't even know he died
Yeah.
until like moments after. You know what? I was unfazed. I was like, because we watch him, and I even thought this in the original three, he learns all of these skills way too fast. I feel like it just moves a little too quickly for me. That I was always like, can he really like handle this big thing with Darth Vader? And then the Force winds up like killing him in the end. But I do think that like the last 25 minutes of this movie are like the best moments of the movie because they're so high stakes. And Adam Driver, such a good actor. He was such a good performance. He's so like deadpan, and I
He's
think
great.
he's fantastic. I love him
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like the idea of Luke sacrificing somebody. I just love in like these like sprawling stories in movies or TV, like when we see a character when they're born and then we also see when they die. I just like I really like I love when we get to see like a full character, like a character's full life. And so like I like the idea of Luke sacrificing himself like for the greater good. I just feel like the way they did it was it was unclear. Like I didn't really know what was
Yeah.
happening because he's just like it's like golden hour and he's sitting on a bench and then he
right.
just like topples over. And I was like, wait, is he dead?
Just
What just
force
happened?
projecting himself, and it was so much that it gave him a deadly force stroke. And then he's like,
Which
all
has
right.
never been like that's never been established as an
Yeah, no,
issue.
it's like it's stretching the abilities of the Force, and they continue to do that in The Rise of Skywalker, but then they get to pretend that like it was something that started with The Mandalorian, but whatever.
Yeah.
No, of
The Force healing,
course.
Force speed in The Phantom Menace that one time when they just go like
Yeah, yeah, they run or like really fast by the force. Okay,
yeah.
great. Okay, so we got episode one, episode two, episode eight. What is next?
What is number six?
Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker. Rise of
Okay, here we
Skywalker.
go.
I think it's a little overhated in my opinion. For a host of reasons. I think, and I always said, and maybe I'm gonna have to be the one to write it, or maybe we could all write it together. There needs to be some sort of context between Return of the Jedi and The Force
Uh,
Awakens as to what happened in the household of Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo. We'll call him Ben for the purposes of this. I understand that he almost got slimed by his blood at Jedi camp. But in The Force Awakens, like Princess Leia is just like, yeah, get our son home. Doesn't really, do much about it. Obviously, sends Han Solo out there. Han Solo, obviously that was horrendous for me to watch. But like what what happened? Because I don't think that he was all good and fine until this moment and then like whatever, because then there's the best moment ever is when they're like standing on like the cliff thing and we're mirroring what happened in The Force Awakens. My
Yeah.
MFA is working overtime as I'm recalling this. And Kylo Ren or Ben refers to Han Solo as dad, and that's really cute, and he doesn't say anything. And then Han Solo says, I know, as a recall to I love you, I know, which implies that there was some sort of understanding that Han and Leia did love each other. And Ben watched that and then something happened. But I don't think it's all Luke Skywalker. I think that there was something else going on. But I like this one. It was good. It was fine.
I
so is
just
it,
I feel
sorry.
like, well, no, just I think that's an interesting topic because I feel like that's a symptom of a greater problem in the sequel trilogy where I feel like a lot of things are underdeveloped, characters and character dynamics specifically. Like they do tease, I think, more so in The Force Awakens than anything, with that like something happened like you said, something happened between the two of them, and we don't entirely know what happened with Ben, and then if that manifested into his interest in the dark side while he was training with Luke. But like for me, like I watched the sequels, and then by the end of The Rise of Skywalker, I can't say that I really know who the characters are. Like I don't really feel like I know who Rey is, who Finn
Right.
is, who Poe it like they're there and like it's like fun to be there with them, but like I don't really like she trained really fast and now she's this all-powerful Jedi. And then like, well, I don't know, they completely sidelined Finn and Poe and I mean like they're fun. They have like a cool banter, but like what do they want? What are they trying to
Mhm.
get out of this? I
Yeah,
don't
I really
really
like
care about them, I feel.
I really like what you're saying, Mariah. How like focus more on the family drama, more on the dynamics of the
Hmm.
characters, because that's something that especially I feel like in the sequels, because I don't think the characters are as fleshed out as they like deserve to be. But like I feel like that's just like a if I were to like point to a critique I have of Star Wars as a whole, it's that we don't like a lot of like intimate or like human moments don't really ever happen on screen. They're either like they happen in between movies or in between scenes, or they're just implied, or they happen in the Clone Wars. Like we don't really get like that nitty-gritty human story a lot of the time. And like I it would be like a little bit of a different story, like a different narrative if there was more care brought to that. And I think that like that's really apparent in this movie, which is supposed to be the grand climax and the grand culmination of this whole story. It I feel like I don't know if they were trying to like make another Avengers Endgame. It came out just a few months after Endgame did. And
It
there's a
really
lot of
reeks of that.
similarities. There's a
I
lot
am
of
all the
similarities.
Jedi. Like,
I yeah. I like there's literally like they do like their version of the portal scene, they do their version of the I am Iron Man thing. Like
yeah.
there's a lot of that where it's like they're trying to get like speed run those moments from Endgame, but because they didn't give as much time to the characters and like the heart of the story, it's not fully earned.
And part of me I feel like that's just J.J. Abrams and his writing. This is like this can be a good thing and a bad thing. He has like an eye for like really cool looking visuals and like he can film action really well. But like as you were saying, Enzo, there's like barely any like intimate character or human moments. Like every once in a while, Leia will give Rey a hug, but then they get on a ship and then they go to wherever. And then they go to get
Hmm.
this one thing so they can get that thing. So then they can go to a cliff and put the knife so it fits with a mountain so they can get a Sith Wayfinder. And then Kylo Ren breaks it. So then all of that was for nothing. And then they take his and then they get there anyway. Like
Yeah.
there was a time where like I really enjoyed Rise of Skywalker for like the event of it all, for everything coming to a conclusion. I saw it twice when it came out in 2019. But like this is my number nine. Like this is it just validates the YouTube fan theories as much as like The Last Jedi undoes everything from The Force Awakens. Like I feel like this one like kind of doubles down on like The Force Awakens and then like undoes everything from the previous and like that takes up a lot of the time and there's
Mm.
all these unnecessary time constraints and then like the whole Rey being Palpatine's granddaughter like
Oof.
I feel like when you find that out in the theater like it
Hmm.
is kind of like a cool whoa moment but like after mulling it over it's like wow he really just kind of validated a fan theory and tried to be like, oh, this was the plan all along. Even
Mm.
though he really didn't
Yeah.
know, it didn't really seem like he knew what he wanted after episode seven.
Yeah, I think a really creative storytelling component that George Lucas established is the scrolling credits during the, theme. When I
Mm.
read like Palpatine is back, I was like, "Oh, brother, what am I getting myself into?" Because I don't know, it's just like Palpatine, we haven't heard from that guy in like
I know.
forever. Like
Yeah.
what? And I can't say I didn't see it coming because everything just does seem like a rinse and repeat, which is like why I said before, why can't we go into like the interworkings of some of these relationships? Because for as much as a sci-fi like,
Yep.
saga as this is, it relies so heavily on friendship and community and like
Right.
trust and
Absolutely.
loyalty and
Yeah.
all these things. Like, why do we get like a 30-second snippet that Leia once was low-key a Jedi for a second and had her own lightsaber. Like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
so Ben
Right.
obviously saw that and like what did he make it? Like, I just think there was so much more that we could have done instead of being like Palpatine, let's throw him in there. Why not? Yeah, because I hate Palpatine. And it seems like I hate a lot of these characters, but just like even like the way he talks, like I'm like, oh my God,
Well,
it's so
you're meant
cynical.
to. That's like the
Yeah.
whole point. Like, it's just, I think the most frustrating thing about Palpatine is, I don't know if it's more so that it undoes the Anakin's redemption arc in Return of the Jedi, or it just reeks of J.J. Abrams being unable to come up with original ideas.
Hmm.
I don't know
Hmm.
what, like,
It, it is a little like because the whole thing at the end of Return of the Jedi is like, oh, Anakin was the chosen one, and he did
yeah,
end up bringing balance to the Force because in the end he came around and he killed the Sith Lord. But it turns out like this it's like, oh no, it turns out he didn't. It's like, okay,
right.
so like his redemption's a little cheaper then.
Yeah.
Um, but no, Mariah, this is the only ones in the movies that I haven't directly heard your thoughts from,
Yes.
or thoughts about. So,
Hmm.
how about like just like where this how the saga concludes with Rey as a character and Finn with the secret he has to tell Rey. Um,
Yeah.
that's
What was
still a
that?
secret.
What?
I I don't know. I watched it with my dad and Cam, and my dad had like alluded that something's in development for Ray, that they're like trying to expand on her story. But if I'm being honest, like, okay, what more do we have to do with her? Like, I don't
Hmm.
know. There's just nothing like you had Ethan had said before. Her parents are nobodies, and then her grandfather is Palpatine, so clearly there's something going on, and it kind of seems like everything she needs to do, she goes on a hero's journey. Like, babe, retire. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're done. I think you've done everything you need to do.
Hmm.
And it's not like she and Kylo Ren can even like, skip into the sunset together because what was that? That was crazy. I mean, and like,
Would they
let's
just
look at
kiss
this.
randomly?
That's wild. And you
Why?
and I
Yeah.
said, thank God. Because every time those two were on screen together, I was like, am I walking in on something? Like, there's a lot of tension. I don't know. It's just like he is such a good blend of his parents, where it's like he is Han Solo, but he is also Princess Leia. And it's such a good mix. But like, do I believe that after all this time, Kylo Ren would really lay down his entire life for Rey? No, I don't believe it. But that's just me.
Yeah, it was never
That's a
really.
fair critique. Yeah.
I remember like that
Yeah.
kiss just coming totally out of left field the first time. Like when I saw it in the theater, I'm like, oh, okay.
That's the
Like,
That's the Byler of Star Wars right there.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
we're gonna kill him off anyway. Might as well do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been a little bit
Uh-huh.
more upset if Byler ended up happening that I was about this, but yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, it felt
Wow.
very like random. I was like, oh, okay. And I get like a slow burn romance. Like, don't get me wrong. We waited kind of a little bit for Han and
You waited
Leia to
3 movies.
like,
Yeah,
you know,
Hmm.
in the
yeah,
beginning.
that's
You don't
true.
have to make him like evil. Because I feel like half of their dialogue would just be him being like, you have no family and you have no family. That must suck. And you're weak. And you're weak because you don't have parents. And she was like, shut
Riz.
up.
Yeah,
Right. And it's like, why are we doing I don't know.
yeah.
I don't get
On a
it.
positive note, we haven't really been talking about little guys, but this movie has two great
Oh,
little guys.
yes, they
Uh,
do.
it's
Babu
got
Frick.
Babu Frick, the little hairy guy with the goggles, and it's got Dio.
Hey!
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dio. I like him.
I
No one really
like
knows who he is.
loved. I love the little guys in this one. This is actually when I
I'm a
made the
Babu
point.
Frick
Like,
fan.
Babu Frick.
yeah,
Yeah.
All right,
I think
I
he's
want
in
all the
Mando.
merch.
you want all the merch?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to this.
All
Um, okay,
right.
that was number 6.
Oh yeah, so that's number 6. So now we're getting into the upper half. So
Yeah.
what is your number 5, Mariah?
Hot as tape. It's The
Uh-oh.
Empire Strikes Back.
Whoa!
Wow.
I
Whoa!
know. I
Okay.
Whoa!
know. I'm sorry about it.
No, this
Um,
is interesting.
All
this
right.
is definitely the best script. 100%. this is the script of all scripts. But I don't know. I like the other two way better.
That's understandable.
Okay. All right.
So what about
What
it
yeah.
holds it back from being higher? Is it just because like this is like it seems to be the only thing that Star Wars fans agree on is like, oh, this is the best one. So it's really
Yeah.
cool seeing a Star Wars fan think for themselves in this regard.
Yeah.
So what are the reasons for that?
I think it was just like talked up a lot for me. Like everyone's
Mm.
like, this
Okay.
is the best one. And it was really good. Like I said, the script is fantastic. I really liked it. But like I find the other two much more enjoyable just to watch. Like this one, like I have to really dial in. And I already knew about the whole like father son reveal.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. Like Yoda kind of like that whole sequence doesn't really scratch an itch for me. And just like Luke training, I'm
That's
just like,
fair.
oh, okay.
It is
But I don't know.
the film like once it starts, it doesn't really let up. From everything that you've said so far, I can gather that maybe the most interesting parts for you were the romance.
Absolutely. That and
This might be
100%.
this might be a good time for you to talk about that now, since you mentioned before that you are much more of
Yes.
a Han and Leia fan than an Anakin and
Yeah,
Padme one. So why don't
yeah.
you
They're
take us
fantastic.
into that?
I like I feel like there's like a Yo Bros episode where like Enzo sped it up and Enzo's hands are just like flying all over the place
Yeah,
and
it's
Ethan's
the
just like
Captain
sitting there.
America Brave New World review. There's one
Yes.
part where I'm just like going crazy, and just has the blankest face you've ever seen. It's so funny.
That's what this is going to feel like. I
Please, please.
love these two characters so much. And I am going to like bring my own personal like experience into this because I think it's like important. Never in because you both know Cam and you both
Yeah.
know me. Never in my life did I ever see a relationship dynamic on screen where it's like hyper independent, really doesn't care much about the fluff, is just has a goal, wants to do it, and sarcastic guy who is just kind of there. I've never seen those two together.
Hmm.
And honestly, when I first watched this, I never saw this coming. I never saw that they would, be together and like establish this whole life together.
Sure.
They're so good. I just love them. I really like how they balance each other out. I think they are foil characters of each other in a very real
Absolutely.
way because
Yeah.
they're so opposite that they just work. And I think the scene where they really seal the deal, which this is where I'm going to get into, I just listened to. Carrie Fisher wrote diaries all throughout her filming of A New Hope. And
Mm.
she found them when she was moving, like maybe like right before she died, actually. It was actually months before she died. She released this memoir about her affair with Harrison Ford. Oh my gosh, isn't that exciting? Um, and I just listened to it and it was very juicy. And it's just like understanding that these two actors had such chemistry leading up to this that she had said, like, when you see us kiss, that's months of
Wow.
practice and behind the scenes stuff. And I don't condone it at all. Affairs are bad. I do not condone it.
Okay.
But
I'm glad to know your stance
I
on it.
Yeah.
I kind of think it adds to the juiciness of these two characters being in love.
No.
Because it's like when we look at this scene, first of all, the way it's shot is perfect. I'm talking like she's
Which
trying to
one?
like fix the thing and then
Oh
he
yeah, it's all
walks
tight.
in.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 It's like we learned about the degree of intimacy in my screenwriting class, and holy smokes, you're right there. And it's just like
It's
she's trying
blocked
to
really
fix
well.
it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's trying to help. And, like my hands are dirty. Mine are too. What are you afraid of? Whoa.
Yeah.
That's how Kylo Ren and Rey could have been written if more attention was paid to them. But like, it's just so nice that like they start with this like, I hate you, I hate you, to like, I could tolerate you and I love you so much. I love that I love you, I know. That wasn't scripted. That was just, I forget which one of them did that. I think it was
It was
I think it was
Harrison.
probably
Harrison
Harrison
Ford.
Ford,
He
yeah.
was like
Yeah.
I think he was like sick or something. I don't know. Or like that was an Indiana Jones thing. I was
Indiana
thinking
Jones,
of. That
that's a
was another.
perfect scene.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like he was just like he was fed up with the script or something. And he just said, "I know," and it's
It's
too
just,
perfect to like, yeah.
it's great. It's
Uh,
like, oh my God, I can go on and on.
no, I feel like this is a great thing to talk about right after what we said with Rise of Skywalker. Like the absence of on-screen character, like small moments. This movie probably has the most and the best on-screen character development for all of them because like we
Yeah.
get those really intimate moments and those like it's probably like the most like I'll say it like loosely risque that Star Wars is like with the stuff of Han and Leia, but also the characterization of Luke. Like I feel like we get a really clear um like chapter of his hero's journey because like he had a huge victory in the last movie and now he's on the path to become this Jedi and become like the chosen one
Yeah.
that he is. And he does all the right things. He listens to Obi-Wan, he trains, everything like that. But he gets ahead of himself at the last moment and he leaves before his training is done. He's like, no, I could do it. I could take Darth Vader. And he ends up losing. I think that's really like powerful to to see him fail in this movie. And I think we get great characterization for all of
Yeah.
the core three in this movie.
To piggyback off of that, in my opinion, I feel like, and I'm sorry, Mariah, I feel like Luke definitely gets too much flack from
Hmm.
the original
Oh,
trilogy. And this is gonna be
definitely.
this is gonna be covering this is gonna be covering most of like the original trilogy here, but I feel like um I think an argument can be made that like maybe the Return of the Jedi is his best movie, but I think it's here because Luke's character is pretty consistent where it is in A New Hope, and it's what's interesting for him as a protagonist is that he's flawed. He's whiny and impulsive, and but
He's a
like
kid.
also like loyal to a fault. And in A New Hope, it worked to their advantage because that's how they were able to rescue Leia, and then ultimately like that impulsiveness like led to him destroying the Death Star, but here it is his downfall and that like takes him to the lowest point. You don't it's just more interesting to see a character like go through these kind of like peaks and valleys and like these like larger obstacles and just like outright fail as opposed to someone like Rey who just kind of like starts as like, oh, I don't know much, and then she has an insane power level and then people yell at her but she just gets better and then she's the most powerful Jedi ever or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, I think Luke, like that final like battle, I do think it really, I don't know, I feel like if I was like, 15, 16 watching this movie, I'd be really moved by it. Cause it's just like, look at what this little guy who's coming from nothing with a couple of like clunky little droids can really turn into. And I think it's great. Even like I know I just said the part with Yoda I kind of like, but I kind of like that he has to like jump through all these hoops to figure out like what is
Literally.
my purpose. And
Yeah.
I won't be such a Luke Skywalker hater in A New Hope because we studied it in my screenwriting class and it like I can't watch that movie the same anymore. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, well, kudos to you. Yeah, you had
Thank you.
the
I've grown. Yeah.
It's interesting though because like for I feel like this is the one so far that you've geeked out the most. It's hard
Yeah.
for me to believe that this is your true number five.
oh
Yeah. I feel like as we get
he's
higher on the
pushing
list,
back.
do you know that like meme? I don't know what his name is. I think he's from It's Always Sunny and he has like all the things on the wall and he's like,
Yeah,
Yeah, Charlie
that's
did.
what the rest of this, yes, Charlie did. That's what the rest of this is going to feel like, at least for me.
All right,
Okay.
I'm
All
excited.
right. Yeah.
All right, take us
All
out there.
right. A hot take number 4, The Force Awakens. I have to be honest with you. I really didn't like this movie the first time I watched it. I love BB-8. I love
Little guy.
how this does feel like A New Hope in the way that it's like, it's exciting. It's been how many years since we've seen these characters? We have new friends coming into play. BB-8's on this like fun mission to deliver a message. It's basically what his was pal R2D2 had to do. I think that introducing Kylo Ren's character as this like, oh, like that's crazy. Things are getting a little heated. It establishes this dynamic, like in A New Hope. We're not messing around. There is no peace in this galaxy whatsoever. And you end Return of the Jedi on like, hugging the Ewoks and celebrating and doing all this fun stuff. Han Solo dying. I always question if that was more of a Harrison Ford get me the heck out of this franchise, or if it was a J.J. Abrams character choice.
It might be because I
Might be a
remember
bit of both.
in I remember during the original trilogy, like he was giving pushback to George Lucas, like for Han Solo to die in The Empire Strikes Back. He's
Mhm.
like he doesn't have any like story responsibilities. Like this would be the point in the story for him to, I guess, commit self-sacrifice, and then that's why he's just kind of like bored in Return of the Jedi. So like I can't help but like not think of that when I watch The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see what you're saying there.
I also really appreciated how, like, I would have loved to have seen this in theaters. Every time, this was another movie. My dad and my sister saw it, and the screen broke, and he has a free IMAX
Oh
pass.
my
Like,
God.
he still has to use it. I don't know what he's waiting for, but like, it's fun. It's like
Hilarious.
someone walks out of like a ship, and it's like Han Solo. That's fun. It's BB-8. It's Princess Leia.
This
It's
movie has
just
a great
fun.
energy. It's
Yes.
so exciting. Even years later, having seen the movies that come after, and like knowing that like everything doesn't really shake out the way that this movie seems to promise, it's still
Yeah.
so exciting. Like there's so it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like Star Wars is back. You know, like
Yeah.
you said, new characters and like old characters. It's really
Yeah.
infectious energy that this movie has.
I go out of my way to say that The Force Awakens is my favorite trailer of all time.
Ooh, I have never seen a trailer for
I don't
it.
think I have either.
I remember like I just remember vividly. I'm 10 years old and like my dad, he's a huge Star Wars fan. And I remember waking up before going to school. Like he had to go to work and he just wanted to show me and Noah the trailer. They were debuting it during the commercials of like some NBA game, I think. And then like I just remember like feeling so like shook, like hearing the Force theme, like kind of bass boosted, all epic and orchestral, and all of these crazy images. Like again, like for as much as I will knock on J.J. Abrams for like his writing, he has like such an incredible imagination and like knack for cool looking visuals. And like it was just so cool watching that over and over. Like I still get goosebumps like if I ever like go back and watch it just to like get a kick out of it. Like that's just
That's awesome.
a
I'll have to
pure
watch it again.
yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
didn't really watch any of the trailers because I was like, let me just go into this blind and we'll see
It
kind of
felt
what
like an
happens.
event. Yeah.
That's like I wish that I was like into it as a child because I feel like and just having studied PR at school, I think it's so cool with the idea of growing up on the Star Wars movies and being able to take your kid in theaters and not a reunion and not an anniversary year, like a new original part of this saga. And like, yeah, you can argue Solo, Rogue One, Mandalorian, sure. But like to be able to be like, I grew up with Luke Skywalker, now you're growing up with Rey, that is so important to me. I think that we need to start bringing that back. And it didn't feel like a remake. Like they very easily could have remade A New Hope. And if I'm
Right.
being honest, they probably will remake A New Hope at some point, but it
No,
was
because
It's
nice.
a common criticism
that's
with
my
this
yeah.
movie that it's like they're just retreading the same ground as New Hope. I feel like like if you zoom in like that, yeah, you can see that, but like it never reads whenever I watch it, it's never like oh they're just copying it. Like it always like it feels fresh,
No.
even though they're similar
Yeah.
story beats. But like
Like
it's
yeah. There's like
I
parallel
always like
conventions to it, but like I think it's a good balance between like since they're reviving the franchise, like I feel like there is some sort of an obligation to like pay homage to some of it, but it's not like, oh my God, look at how great the original was. It like mixes in that new material, and I feel like I feel that they struck the right balance for
mhm.
Yeah.
rebooting this whole thing.
Yeah. It's definitely the stakes are raised the entire time. Like I couldn't relax when I watched this one because the back of my mind the whole time, like, where's Luke? Like we're seeing all these characters and y'all know how I feel, but I was like, where is he? Like, what's going on? We have all these new people being introduced to, and it's like, okay, Finn's an ex-stormtrooper. Okay, that's like I feel like they were really pushing the envelope of like what maybe they didn't really tease out way back when. I don't know.
Like
It's a fun one. I like it.
it's I agree. Like I feel like even though like I feel like it was very clearly like setting up like, all right, you have this like lone scavenger and this former stormtrooper, and they're like gonna reform this new generation of Jedi with Luke Skywalker. And even though that didn't really pan out, like it's still, like you said, it's still very exciting to like, I guess, kind of think about what could have been, because there's enough mystery, even though like it's clearly setting up into like another movie. Like I feel like I can watch that as a standalone almost and just be like, all right,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
That's what people were telling me. They were like, if you want to quit now, you totally could. And I was like, I
Right.
will see it through. But
I'm gonna see it through,
no,
yeah.
I definitely understand that.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay.
Number
So now we're in the
four.
top three.
Top three Star Wars.
All
Yay.
right.
Okay, I think we're all really gonna agree with this one. Revenge of the Sith. Oh, I love this one. I love
So good.
Revenge of the Sith.
This is my number
This
one,
is,
actually.
and you know what? I feel like everyone like our age that I talk to, they're like Revenge of the
Yeah.
Sith is the best
Yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it's interesting the the PR that the prequels have had in recent years, because when they came out, everyone hated them, and no one really liked Episode 3 when it first came out. It wasn't until like our generation really who grew up with the Clone Wars. I didn't. I've been mentioning the Clone Wars a couple times. I do not watch the Clone Wars. I've watched like a handful of like the essential episodes. I've seen maybe like, it sounds like a lot, but I've seen maybe like 30 episodes of the Clone Wars. Um, but like I didn't grow up with it. It's just like I think that like that did so much of the PR for the prequels, and also people are just realizing like zooming out, looking at the story, like we mentioned, it's so compelling. And all of that comes to a head in this movie. I feel like it could have been like this movie could have been like the emotional journey of this movie could have been split over the first two movies, but it's like they kind of forgot to, and this movie
mhm.
does
Yeah.
it all, but it does it so effectively.
That's my main gripe with it, because like there's no doubt like did you guys see it when like last year when it was re-released in theaters?
No, I really wanted to.
I did.
It's like, and again, like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, well, in the theater you can like really feel it, even though on
Mm.
paper it shouldn't, like it doesn't make sense for him to kind of turn that quickly. It does enough to the point where like you can feel it and like suspend your disbelief just a little bit and like believe like, okay, like he really is like genuinely conflicted about like what to do, like his loyalty to Palpatine, like with what he knows what he's supposed to do, like not being a, like you can make an argument that he is basically a slave to the Jedi kind of throughout the prequels, and he
Yeah.
just wants to be able to um he wants to be able to do his own thing. He wants to achieve this rank. That's kind of like I feel like it's just one of those anomalies where like it shouldn't work, but it does. You know?
Yeah. To me, the most compelling part of all of Star Wars to me is the Obi-Wan Anakin dynamic. And like
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's my favorite character. I love him so much. Like specifically Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan. I don't love Alec Guinness Obi-Wan. I don't know why. I just feel
What?
like he's a different vibe. I don't know.
No. Well, I
He
mean,
he doesn't feel like the same character. I don't know. I don't know. But
I okay.
I like him, but anyway, like I love like the brotherly bond that Obi-Wan and Anakin have, like they're teacher and student, but they're also peers, and they fight, they
Yeah.
love each other. I wish that there was more of that. There's common criticism
Hmm.
throughout this video. I wish there was more of that on screen throughout this movie. That's why I'm turning to the Clone Wars and to the comics and stuff like that, because it fleshes it out. But still, like you said, it shouldn't work, but it does. The emotional climax of where it all goes to hits so hard, and you feel every inch of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
oh, I love it.
Like that
I
one
love
scene where he's oh God, like he's on Coruscant and you just like he's having these visions and then like the music's really loud. It's right before he like goes to intercept Mace Windu, and like there's no dialogue there, but you can like understand like immediately the turmoil that's going on. And it's in moments
Hmm.
like that where I'm like, is this really from like the prequel like is this really like the movie that follows Attack of the Clones? Like what what are, it's just significantly better than the other two in the trilogy. And again, to echo what you've been saying, Enzo, like the dynamic between the two isn't something that you get with like Rey and Han and Luke, or Luke with Yoda and Obi-Wan, because that's strictly like mentor student, but this one has a lot more layers.
Yeah, it's like I love the bloopers from this movie too. Like it's just you could tell everyone was having fun, and Hayden Christensen just does such a good job at, we kind of grow up with Anakin at this point, to watch him grow from this like actual child to, like, I don't know, he's kind of a silly little guy when he gets to be a little bit older, and like he's still flawed and he's still making mistakes, but he has this capacity to banter, and I did not see it coming. I will say I noticed, like, as the movie
You love
progressed,
banter.
his costume started becoming like more and more black, and
Mm.
I was telling Cam, I was like, wait a minute, I don't like where this is going at all. And raising the stakes. And my friend and I always laughed, like, oh no, Anakin had a bad dream and he wakes up and he's shirtless and he's just like chiseled and has to like walk
Yeah.
out of the room.
He like
That, yeah, that whole part really raises the stakes of like, yeah, Padme's pregnant. Let's raise the stakes even higher. Pregnant with twins. And that's when I was like, oh my God. And then I watched the Obi-Wan series after that. So I feel like that's the
mm.
most
Mm,
context I got in terms of like those characters, but really, really raised the stakes very fast. And I love how fun this movie feels. In the end, I mean, like, you were my brother, Anakin. Ooh,
woof.
that hurts my
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah.
I love stories where like best friends like becoming like enemies and like having like betrayal stuff like that. Like it's so compelling. And this movie is just like it hits me every single time. I just like watch like the final battle on Mustafar on
Yeah.
YouTube, and like it hits me so hard every single time.
Mm.
Just because like Obi-Wan is like, yeah, here's why Obi-Wan is the best character in Star Wars. He
Let's hear
is
it.
like he is the embodiment of the light side. Like he is what it
Yeah.
means to be on the good side, to be a Jedi.
Hmm.
Um, he's not perfect. He like I actually watched a video of like a therapist cinema therapy is his name the YouTube channel, and he like reacts to like movie characters, and he like diagnosed Obi-Wan. It was so cool.
Wow.
But it's like he puts so much trust and so much faith in these people who are a little flawed, and like he blames himself for like when they fail, stuff like that. Even like in episode one, we see Obi-Wan as a young guy, and he's a little bit of like, like he's not fully mature yet. He's a little bit
Yeah.
of a wisecracker, but he goes through so much pain in his life. His mentor like dies right before his eyes. His the student that he spent his entire life trying to keep in line betrays him, and like falls to the dark side, and everything like that. And in the Clone Wars, you see more and more stuff like that. His love interest uh got was killed by Darth Maul actually. And it's like there's so much stuff that's like constantly like he has every reason to go to fall to the dark side, to fall to the same thing that Anakin did and that all the other Siths did, but he never does.
He
Like
doesn't. Yeah.
his trust in the Force and like his desire to do good is that strong, and like he's such an inspiring character. I love him so much, and Ewan McGregor puts so much into the performance. Like, oh God, it's amazing.
Yeah, he's really good.
I don't know if we talked about this in with the previous two. Well, kind of, because you mentioned Enzo on Geonosis with like the millions of Jedi, but I feel like the prequels objectively have the best lightsaber fights, like
Yes,
by far. Um, I think that's one of the
yes.
highlights. And I think uh this is a completely separate topic, but I think like one of the reasons why the prequels don't work for me is because I think, well, just as a whole, is because like in the original trilogy, like everyone talks as if as if they are a human. Like yes, we are like different like creatures, and there's like different culture and terminology and language, but everyone talks as a person from this world. and like that just made it much more relatable. And I feel like in the prequels, um, George Lucas tried to make it just a little bit too Shakespearean. And then like everyone's talking as if like, well, literally like Anakin's speech before the battle on Mustafar is like, I've brought peace, freedom, and justice and security to my. There's just like this like air behind the voice. Um, with the dark side is a force that not all, but then like you have I don't know, and then it just feels like a lot more natural in the original trilogy. So I think that's just a part of the reason
I
why it doesn't
I agree with what
work
you're
for me.
saying, and but like for the opposite reason, like the cheesy clunkiness of it is like for me like but what gives it its character, but it's just yeah no definitely
I
the
mean,
from
it's
my
not
point of view the Jedi are evil, awful line.
right.
Why who would say that?
It's not like it's not like unbearable to listen to. Like you can't help but it's like one of those things where like it's so bad it's good. But like I don't even
Yeah,
want to
Mhm.
say it's so bad. It's just like
it's
that's
alien,
kind of
like
yeah.
it's weird, it's uncanny
Tried to make
the
it
way
too
they speak.
alien. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the only
right.
other thing I wanted to touch on.
What do you think of 'cause this is a debated topic among Star Wars fans, Hayden Christensen's performance, like as an
Yeah.
actor. What do you think of
I
him?
think it's really well done. I think he takes like the direction very well. Obviously, like none of us were on set, but you can just tell that like he's very flexible. It I don't know, it's a very complex character, and I never would have thought to kind of interpret it as this like guy who does banter and he's so silly, and then by the end is like, literally betraying everything we know from the past two movies. So he definitely keeps the suspense up. I like how he still maintains that relationship with Padme up until the very end. Literally waking up in a cold sweat because like you have this like really crazy vision. I think it's all very well done. I Was he like a big actor in the early 2000s? Like I don't really know much about him. Like I
No,
really
this is
like
kind of like his biggest thing that he's ever done.
I
He was in
like
a
I
when
really
they
movie
don't know
called
do
anything else.
that.
he was in a movie called Shattered Glass in like 2003, I
Mm,
think. But like that's it. Like
yeah,
But
it's
like
just it's nice.
people like to like criticize. They say like his line delivery is kind of wooden and awkward, and I like kind of like what you were saying, Ethan. I agree with that, but for me, I think that that adds to his character. Like he's an awkward guy, and
Mhm.
he's unsure really of what his next step is. And I think that if any other actor were to play him in any other different kind of way, we'd get a different character. And the Anakin that
I
we
think that's
have
fair.
for me works very, very well. So I like the way he performs it.
I'm kind of on both sides of the argument because yes, I feel like I can't really imagine another person playing it. Like, and it's at a point where like you're just so used to the performance where like, well, like that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are definitely moments throughout episodes 2 and 3 where like you can really feel that sense of awkwardness, and I'm like really believing it. But like most of the time, there's just this air of like performative. Like I'm not fully believing the things that like when he's pacing back and forth and he's just like, "Lion!" Like I'm like, all right, like it's I'm like in between. Like I
He's like
believe
choking
both
Padme.
sides. Yeah.
I'm trying to
I'm
protect
trying to
you.
save it.
Choking
Exactly.
her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I always go
Anakin, you're
back to it and
breaking
he's
my
like,
heart.
"What have I done?"
What have I done?
Accidentally
Yeah.
built a Jeep.
Oh my God. I think I sent that to you, Enzo.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
I think I did. One of the many things that I send you a
Right
day.
after Mace Windu gets thrown out the window. Mace Windu's so cool. I love I wish we got to know the other Jedi on the council. Like in the movies. Like Mace Windu, he's always got a response. Like he's always got an opinion. He's not in the movies a ton, but when he is, he's always like laying something down. So he's really cool.
It's because he's got a purple lightsaber.
He does
And
have a
no one
purple
is going
lightsaber.
to
It's
tell Sam
awesome.
Jackson that he's not going to get a purple lightsaber. So
Yeah.
Yeah, put him in more Star Wars movies. He's
Yeah,
so
he's
cool.
awesome.
that was
There was
that
a
was he had a more tragic
yeah,
death than like most of
yeah, he got
Order
thrown out the
66,
window.
honestly. You get to
Yeah.
watch him like get electrocuted for like
Ah!
45 straight seconds. It's rough.
Yeah. Um, there was like a conspiracy theory back when like episode 7 came out. I wasn't in Star Wars by then, but I've heard about this that Snoke was Mace Windu. People said that.
Mhm.
Um, it was like the same thing where it's like before Endgame came out, they're like Hawkeye's going to be the main bad guy, and it's like,
Oh
all
yeah.
right. It's ridiculous. But no, I love Mace Windu. He's a great character for the little that we see of him. Okay, well, I think
I
that
think
closes
that's
out the prequels
and the
Yeah,
sequels because we did
and
the
the sequels.
last
Yeah.
yeah.
sequels are done.
Okay, we got two
So
more
we're
movies.
down to two.
I
Let's see.
of the two that are left, in the beginning when you said, "Could you guess my number one?" I predicted one of these two would be number one. So let's see if I'm right.
Ooh,
I did
I
as
love
well.
that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
Let's see.
All right, number 2 is A New Hope.
I was
I was right.
right.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, like, I watched it and I really enjoyed it. It's like one of the only Star Wars that like I can't really find a flaw in it for me.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then in my screenwriting textbook, we studied it. And I was like, oh my God, this movie is so good. And I think what adds to the charm of this movie is how low budget it truly is. Like Luke Skywalker wearing those like Levi's the entire time.
Yeah.
It's so charming. It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
And like just like Luke Skywalker being like a young little guy who just wants to be a pilot and he just wants to like go out and save the world and see a new life he hasn't seen. So it makes sense that Han Solo is everything he wants to be down to the girl he wants to, date. Ooh, which winds up being his sister. Yikes. But it's
Yeah.
such
Can't
a,
bat 1,000. It's
like,
okay.
you
No one's
watch
perfect.
him go through this thing and when you realize that, like, the central conflict really does revolve around him, like, kind of getting what he wants out of the life he originally had. I kind of looked at it in a different way. Like, it is about the Death Star. It's not about the Death Star, but it really is more or less like, how does Luke get from point A to point B?
Right.
And I think the very end of that movie, which, like, I feel like I was talking about this with Dom over the weekend. This movie is one of those that just like ends. It's just like they finish
It
and they
kind of
get
does.
medals
Yeah.
and it's done. And I'm like, I like that. We don't need to debrief. I
Yeah.
saw it. You saw it.
Like you
It's
got the
really good.
payoff, like, and then
Movies
they
need to
have
bring
the
that
Yeah.
moment where they
back.
come back
Yeah.
to
I
bring back
love
the
the
throne room.
scene. The cantina scene is perfect. If you
Oh
haven't been to
yeah.
Oga's in either of the Galaxy's Edge, like it's so accurate and it's so fun. I
I
like
know we
how
weren't there.
smug Chewie and Han are. It's just like, but then also like, they kind of joke that like the Millennium Falcon maybe isn't what it's cracked up to be. And then like in the sequels, that's like the only thing getting them from point A to point B. But that's like a little continuity thing. Yeah, overall, I really do enjoy this movie. I love Princess Leia in this movie. I think the best
Mhm.
because she's
She's so
not,
much smarter than Han and
yes.
Luke.
She's the
You
exact
just,
opposite of the archetype that she's made out to
yeah.
be.
Mhm.
And so you sent me this thing where it's like Star Wars is about two of the stupidest men trying to save the most capable woman.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so true.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I love the
Yeah.
best part about the three is that like George Lucas was just kind of like fuck nice core and everyone's just like hurling insults at each other. And I think that's my favorite type of banter, my favorite type of like dialogue where everyone's just
Yeah.
like kind of
Everyone
mean.
hates each other.
Yeah.
I really like the like line in Princess Leia's like, can someone get this walking carpet out of the way? Like, oh my God. It's so good. Like,
She grabs
she's
the
so
gun from
funny.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Don't
is
you
A
call
New
him
Hope.
Flyboy?
Oh my God. Yeah. Cause I really love it, like the Harrison Ford improv when he's like talking over the intercom. He's like,
Oh, that's the
I forget,
Oh,
best.
it's the
and
I
he
best.
just
love
like
that
shoots
so
it.
much.
It's so good. Like,
It's like a rare like moment of like straight up comedy, like an actual joke in
yeah.
Star Wars. Like you don't get that a ton, but like oh no, that's such a
Negative,
great moment.
negative. Everything's fine. We have we're all good here. How are you?
Yeah.
And it's just like, because like, yeah, like getting Carrie Fisher's actual perspective. So like she's daughter of Debbie Reynolds, but Debbie Reynolds had a really crazy hard life because
Yeah.
there was like the affair and Elizabeth Taylor and all the things that happened with her personal life, that like she wasn't really a nepo baby because her mother lost all of her money, and she had Singing in the Rain and she had all the things that she did, and then that was kind of it. And so Princess Leia, sorry, Carrie Fisher, she goes to high school, hardcore bullied through high school because they're like, this girl thinks she's all that, and she's like, no, I don't. She goes to London for like acting school, drops out, hears about this. She auditions for Carrie in Carrie, and she said she didn't get the part because
Oh.
she didn't think it'd be good marketing to be like, it's Carrie and Carrie. Um and then she auditioned for Star Wars and she was like, I didn't think I got it. And when she read with Harrison, she had said something along the lines of like, I can like charm the bees out of everyone's trees except for his. And it's just like, oh my God, I love that they had this dynamic from day one. And then she like does this movie and
Wow.
you could tell like she's 19 years old. She's so young and she's so good in this role that it makes going back and watching it like so impressive.
Yeah.
To say like this was literally her first role. Um, and she's, you know, fantastic. And she also like went onto the set and was like, I was pretty determined to have an affair with somebody. I'm not really sure who, but I sought out like a man on this
He's
set.
so
I'm
funny.
just sorry it had to be Harrison.
That's
Yeah.
great.
But then she reads her diary entries and it's like, oh no, they're all really sad.
Oh.
Hmm.
I feel really like bad about it. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. And
Wow.
Chewbacca's just so cool in this one. He's
I
cool in
love
all
Chewie.
of them, but he's especially cool in this one.
Yeah, sure.
I think
Yeah.
the only thing, this is going like way back to something before Carrie Fisher, but when you said how like there's like you can't really like find anything wrong with it, I feel like I would have to agree. Like the only thing that like kind of bothered me on rewatch with this movie is how like so they like Obi-Wan dies, they escape the Death Star, they get to the Rebel base, and then we're just there, and then we're like, all right, we're like, here's this guy, and he's like talking to Carrie Fisher, and like, here's the plan, and then Luke's in an X-wing, and then they already start, and like, it always felt a little bit rushed to me. But on this, I rewatched this previous May the 4th, and I feel like I feel like it actually works doing it that way because you're not meant to be following Carrie Fish. You're meant to be following Luke, and he's just kind
Hmm.
of thrown into this. It's like, all right, like we have to get down to business. And went back on Tatooine, like he explains when he's arguing with um Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru that like all of his friends have already like gone into the Jedi Training Academy, or well, no, like the like
Pilot
to be
school.
pilots, yeah, the
Yeah.
pilot school, and like he still needed him as a moisture farmer. So like for him to be
He's like
there and like
falling
recognize
behind.
everyone, yeah, exactly. So like it makes sense to play a little catch up. And like yeah, like I've heard other people like try and make critiques, and I think they're valid, but like some of them are like oh well, like why does Obi-Wan not recognize R2 even though like he technically owned him throughout all of the Clone Wars, but that's not inherently a
We just
critique for
gloss
the New
over that. It
Hope.
doesn't matter.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah.
so no, I like how we're using Princess Leia and Carrie Fisher interchangeably.
Interchangeably. I
Yeah.
love, yeah.
Since the beginning of
No,
this, it's
yeah.
just she is
Yeah,
her.
Yeah.
she's her.
I love her so much. When I was watching Rise of Skywalker, I was thinking about A New Hope, like just a lot because I forget who said it, like watching these characters be born and watching them die is like really cool. I think there was an opportunity to do Kylo Ren as Luke's son and have him grow up on the farm and like do the same sort of arc. Because I think that would
Hmm.
have made that like I'm going to Jedi camp, I'm waking up to roll over essentially.
Yeah.
And here is my dad like
Here's
looking
what
over me. I think, and I do think that Rey could have been Han and Leia's kid if they wanted to, but I was just thinking about A New Hope a lot when I was watching this one.
In like the comics, there's the lore accurate. Like Luke has one son, is I think Ben Skywalker, and then
everyone's name's
Too many
Ben.
Bens.
Too
there's too
many
many Ben. No,
Bens.
and then Han and Leia have twins. I don't know if they're twins or if they're just brother and sister, and I don't know the names. It's either like Jason or Jaden, and then like um
Jaden.
Jaden, like the the daughter becomes like the best like uh star pilot like in the galaxy, and then the son does end up becoming basically the next Darth Vader. So like it's just kind of
These
like the
people
Force
all
Awakens
need to
kind
go
of
to
like
therapy.
watered that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they yeah. But
Because it's only one family
Yeah.
who's like
it really is, yeah.
everything always centers back to this one family. Like, no one else is doing anything like
No.
this. Can you imagine just
Yeah.
like being like a separate family in the Star Wars universe? Like, what are they doing?
These Skywalkers, they got a lot going on.
Yeah, they need counseling.
And that's
Yeah.
why sequels are bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah,
Um,
but I don't really have much more to say about
Yeah,
A New
everything's
Hope just
kind
because
of kind of been
I
said
think
about
it's
this
great
movie.
and they
Yeah.
shouldn't touch it. And it's getting that re-release next year. I'm very excited about that.
Oh, 50 years.
I hope, okay, last thing. I hope that when they release it, it's like the original and not the 2004 remaster,
It
because
is the
there are
original, I
CGI.
heard.
a
Yeah.
couple
Ooh.
changes in there that I don't like. Like when they're,
Is there like the human Job of the Hutt though?
I
yeah,
think
like
so.
one thing, like I feel like they shouldn't have re-added that scene back in because it worked so much better in Return of the Jedi if like you
Yeah.
just meet Jabba there for the first time. And then like again, just like the mixture between like the practical sets and effects, and then you have like a giant like Wampa like crossing the screen and something like that. But like I don't know, part of it like for the 50th, I feel like the best thing would be to go and just see like the original
The thing
effects,
that
like the
started it.
original shit. Exactly, because like for its time, it was just so innovative. Like watching that in the
Yeah.
theater, like people who like were kids in the 70s and like got to see the opening crawl and then a giant like spaceship overhead. You
It's
don't need to
cool.
redo it with the CGI. It speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Huh?
Um,
All right, Mariah. That leaves
Coming in
one.
at number one, Return of the
Oh,
Jedi. I love this one. This is all right. So when I was waiting for my decision to come back on the Disney College program, I was very stressed because I had a lot riding on this, and um, I had my 3 pound weights in hand. It was over Christmas break. I was walking in place watching Return of the Jedi because it's my comfort movie, and my dad was coming downstairs and was like, "Well, that's not how I watch Star Wars, but hey, if that's how you want to watch it, more power to you." It's so much fun because it's like you don't really have to pay that much attention to kind of get what's going on. And again, let's go back to it. Trust your audience. Like, we're all going to pick up on this. I think the best moments in this movie is like maybe the last half hour or so. I
yes.
I
love
Yes,
agree.
I
that they
agree.
Yeah.
think C3PO is God, like in the Ewoks. That's so funny. And just like them celebrating and everything just seeming to like tie up in a bow. It's so good. It's so wholesome. I love the beginning part. I forget, like, I don't know any of the names, nor am I gonna do an impression of this. When like it's like Jabba's little band and they're like singing that song. You know what I'm talking about.
With the two CG, like gross CGI aliens at the same
Yes.
time.
Uh-huh. I never would have done it
Why is
like
that
that.
so good? Why could you do that?
I could have closed my eyes and it felt like I was watching it.
Is
There's
it
I
the
a
love
Max
that
Rebo
part.
band?
there's a Star Wars bar out here and they do karaoke nights on Thursday night, and I wanna when I turn 21, I
Practice,
wanna
yes.
You
go
need
and
to
just like
go.
do that and see how many people will
Wait,
get the reference.
are you not 21 yet?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
This
Oh
month.
man,
This month.
this month. But okay, I was gonna say calling me Unc in like 4 languages.
3 weeks
Um,
tomorrow.
yeah, because I'll be 23 in August. So that's
wow.
yeah, I know, Unc. Yeah, like I love that. I love like because we've established Princess Leia doesn't need to be saved. Like Luke ultimately gathering up the courage to like really make a stand and to help her is really interesting, but there's this like piece of dialogue between Han Solo and Luke, and it's like, how have you been? He's like, same as always. He's like, that bad? The
It's
dialogue in
great.
this one is so good. It's
Yeah,
just so
it's
It's
just
great,
so
funny.
yeah.
it's like they're all buddies. Like they've been
Yeah,
doing this together for so long.
yeah, they're all
Um,
pals.
There's another Han moment I like where they just get on Endor and he's like, "Hey, be careful" or something, and he's just like, "Hey, it's me" or something. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Even though
he
he
has some
didn't want
great
to, yeah,
moments.
even though
Yeah,
he didn't really want to be there. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You can tell like through the acting that he's like not really giving it as much, but it
Yeah.
works so well for the character, and like the
yeah.
lines that he's given are so good.
And it's interesting because this like really was one of his breakout roles. And we know Indiana
Yeah.
Jones, and we kind of had that, but like this is pre Indiana Jones. This is like
I
we
think
don't
he
really
only
have
did like
much
one like semi-successful or like semi-big movie before
little
this.
thing. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting. And just like I don't know. He does for as much as we know he doesn't want to be there. And that's why I initially did not like Han Solo's character at all. Cause I was like, oh, he doesn't want to be there, and it's obvious. In the end, when they're
Who wins
all
you over?
celebrating with the Ewoks and the Ewok gives him a hug on the leg and he just does this little like hat motion, it's so good because it pays off so well that it's like, I don't really want to be here, but I love Princess Leia and I love Luke and I love Chewie,
Mm,
that like I'll be a
Right. Yeah.
participant if
yeah.
you need me to be one. And yeah, I mean, I like that the sequels happen, but even if they never happen, leaving it alone at this, it's good. I
Yeah.
don't know, it ties it all up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I definitely like when I first saw the Star Wars movies, this was my favorite. With time, like it's not that I like dislike it at all, but like I think that like the third act, like you said, like the climax of the movie, it like does so much of the heavy lifting. I
It
think like
really
of like the
is.
whole
Yeah.
trilogy, like it is what everything is leading to. It is so good. It is like the full like confrontation of good versus evil and like Luke and Vader fighting and everything, and Palpatine. Like, it's everything that you want from Star Wars. When I watch it though, like everything leading up to that is like for me like a little like okay, like we're spending a lot of time on Endor,
Yeah.
like which like I don't care, but yeah, no, I definitely think that like the third act of this movie is like a different movie than the rest of it. So
Yeah.
it's very like there's a lot of camp in this movie, which I think is really charming, and there's a lot of like humor. And then the climax of it is very, very serious. So like there's a little bit of a disconnect like that, but
Mhm.
It's pretty unbalanced. Yeah. When I rewatched it this year, I like for some reason like for a week I became like obsessed with like trying to like come up with like writing suggestions that would be better to make it like a better of a payoff because I feel like like you said, Enzo, I feel like as soon as Luke turns himself into Vader and then they're in when they confront Palpatine, like that does really feel like a different movie. I I wrote a letterboxd review, which is an exhaustingly long soapbox
screaming
tangent.
into the void.
Yeah, screaming into the void because I just wanted to put it somewhere so I could be like, all right, these are thoughts I have. In like 30 minutes, I'm gonna forget all the logistics of it. I just need to put it somewhere. Um, I do feel like a second Death Star works because it's the B plot in the end, but like I feel like it is a little lazy just to do like kind of have a second one. I think it would have been cool to like see like because like Coruscant is like the Imperial capital, right?
Coruscant's where the Jedi live.
Coruscant? No,
Or
but
wait,
like
well, that's where the
afterwards.
Jedi Temple is. Yeah, yeah, I guess, yeah.
But like I feel like it would have been cool to just see this like Nazi like imagery of like Darth Vader and Palpatine there. And they were kind of like heading there because like you said with there's a lot of time spent on Endor and we already kind of did the Forest Planet with the Rebel base in A New Hope. So I feel like that would have been like something cool. Um, too much time at Jabba's palace. It feels too goofy, and I feel like it should have been like
I always forget about Jabba's palace.
it's like
It's like
I kind of enjoy watching it. It's like okay, cool. So this is kind of like the payoff for Han Solo because like if you like ignoring the scene from A New Hope, this is kind of the thing that he's been trying to get towards as he's trying to remove himself from the rest of the group. He's like, I gotta pay off these debts. And then we're finally seeing him. And then it's just like all of these like silly creatures and then a giant slug and then they torture droids and then they send all of the characters just to like rescue him and then like he doesn't really do too much like in the later half of the film. Mariah, I like your perspective like when you said that like even though he didn't want to be there like he did find a sense of meaning in like the family of it all. I do like that new perspective and like it
yeah, yeah,
I think
that's a
like
good way to look at it.
on its own it definitely still works. But like I don't know, like they get him and then he's like fine with Lando and then he just takes the Millennium
It's
Falcon and then the only other thing
Isn't
that I
Lando
think
wearing Han's clothes also? Like,
he
isn't that a
is.
thing?
That is a
Like,
real thing. Like at the end of Empire, he is wearing Han's
yeah,
clothes.
Ethan, your dad pointed that out to me, where he's
Yeah.
like, after Han gets frozen in carbonite, like in episode 5, the next time we see Lando, Lando's wearing Han's clothes, and he's like, "What
Yeah.
is that?"
Aw.
Like, what's up?
It's
I'm
He
like,
so
said
"Yeah,
like
weird.
they're the same height. Yeah.
The implications are
yeah."
weird.
It's like, ah, too bad he's not
Yeah.
here. Like,
Another thing, I don't really know like where the fandom stands on this. I don't know if people are like, this is great, or like it's not as good as the first two, but like I feel like a lot of the character development between the end of Empire and the start of Jedi like kind of happens off screen. And it was kind of strange just to see Luke kind of return to Yoda, and it was like, oh, well, what were you doing to get all this character development if you haven't like seen him in between the two movies? And then he dies, and then Obi-Wan just kind of like up and tells him that Leia is his sister, and I feel like that's supposed to be like more of a big reveal. Like, wouldn't it have been cool if like I mean it would have been cheesy, but like if Yoda kind of like said it as his dying breath, like if there was more attention brought to that. I don't know.
No,
Just
yeah, because like even like the look on Han's face when Leia's like, "Don't worry, it's my brother," and he's just kind of like, "Oh my God,
yeah,
wow."
like the
I was misreading this whole thing.
he has this whole arc in this movie, Han, that like he's kind of like jealous of Luke, but if they're establishing that they're siblings, is it kind of like playing into the fact that they didn't know from the first two? I don't know. It's just weird.
It's another one of those
Yeah.
like suspension of disbelief things where it's like, it's like this isn't gonna ruin the experience. It's just like some things don't fully line up. But like it's still like,
well, no, like
the second you're like thinking about it for a while, this like insane, like awesome moment will happen. You'll just forget about it.
yeah, but and like I don't know. It's just weird that that was the thing that they made Han do in the final act. Yeah, I think they could have been something better if they made a point to be like, all right, you're gonna lead this platoon here, and then you're gonna like stage this kind of like you're gonna like overthrow these people or something. Because then it would have been like, okay, yeah, well then that would make sense to like have them go out of their way to leave the rebellion and then go retrieve him from Jabba. And but yeah, it's my soapbox tangent. I had
I
a
yeah,
feeling.
I feel through this whole movie. Like, and I was even telling Cam last night when I was getting this list together, I was like, I don't really think that I even care all that much about like what they're working toward because I don't think I completely understand it. I just really like that this is a movie centered around a bunch of friends on a side quest. Um, and so I think that's why I
Relatable.
resonate so much with this one. But yeah,
What
that's
what are your thoughts on Darth Vader's whole redemption?
it's interesting. I didn't see like I don't know how I avoided so many spoilers for such a long time. I just didn't really see any of it coming, and I think that that's a really good sign of good storytelling.
Hmm.
Is like I don't know, and that's like maybe if like Darth Vader had like some sort of love interest that he flirted with every 45 minutes, I'd have more to say about it. But yeah, I didn't. The only thing that I knew actually going into this whole franchise was like, no, I am your father.
Yeah.
Just terrific delivery. Where I was like aura
Yeah.
farming. That's what we missed about Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan's like standing there aura farming.
Oh, he's like standing on the ship like
Yeah.
that.
And even like on the topic of friendship and community, like Lando is such a fun character. Like what
He
purpose
is.
does he serve? Not a lot, but he's like his friend. And it's
Yeah.
really
I, I,
nice.
I think like the main thing that I love about this movie is that like the first two are like the characters getting to know each other and establishing like what relationships they would have with each other. And this movie, all those relationships have been established, so they kind of just get to like we get to see them in their entirety. Like, we get to see
Mhm.
the full interactions among everybody after having already known each other and been on a few adventures together. It's just kind of like this is what we've been working toward with the dynamics and also with the story, like with between Luke and Vader, which I think is really cool. And Vader's redemption. was not something that I knew before this. I think Ethan actually spoiled it on me because I remember that I was at we were at the water park. I was at the water park with your family, and I was like making my way through it, and
Not
like
me,
you
just
just
my
like
family.
yeah, you weren't there. No, but you just like mentioned it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that happened. And you're like, oh, sorry. It's like I thought you did, but like I had not had that spoiled on me before. But I think it's interesting. It's something that like people forget about, and it's something that keeps me from saying like Darth Vader's like the greatest villain in movie history, like how people say he is. I don't really think he's like villain, yeah, he was a bad guy for a long time, but he was also a good guy for a long time before that. And in the end, he chose the right thing. I think Darth Vader is the best character in Star Wars,
100%.
but like and Anakin Darth Vader is the best character in my opinion. Oh wait, no, sorry, I said Obi-Wan. The most dynamic character, the most like interesting character to watch grow is Anakin Darth Vader. But like for villain, like Palpatine is so much like unambiguously a villain. You love to hate him, and he's just like aggressively, endlessly evil. So like I love how you have both of those villains. You have the one who's just unredeemable and evil, and you have the one who still finds redemption in the last minute, which I
Well,
think is
yeah,
really, really great dynamic.
I think that's well, I think that just like really comes down to like, well, again, like how you define a villain. Um, like it seems like you see Palpatine as more of a villain because he's someone who just is a bad guy. Well, no, I'm asking.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean like when I hear like who are like the best villains of all time, like it's like the people who don't like acknowledge the fact that they are the villain by like they don't acknowledge that they're the villain by changing in the end. Like
Mhm.
I think like the best villains are evil the entire time for justifiable reasons to them, but like Vader is there's a lot more beneath the surface and there's a lot of good inside of him at the beginning and at the end of his story.
Well, I would argue, well, personally, this is I would argue that like maybe that would make him more of an interesting villain just because like you've seen where he's come from. And then like you see that transition from like good to evil and then back to good because he did a lot of ruthless, like apathetic, like evil, horrible things. What's the saying from The Dark Knight where like you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain? And I feel like it's for me, it's the journey that makes the villain a villain, and that's why I personally feel Darth Vader is a stronger villain because like well we get to see Palpatine do arguably worse things, but we don't necessarily see where he comes from, even though he is like such like a terrible, irredeemable badass like you've been saying.
Yeah. It's just like I just love having like a mix of uh characters who have differing depths. Like not all great characters need to have the whole backstory to them. When you mix characters like that with characters who are kind of more one note, like how Palpatine is, that makes for, in my opinion, like endlessly more entertaining stories. And
Yeah.
I think that like you see that most in this movie, which does a lot for it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Is there anything else to add, or is
What do you
that the
think, Mariah?
list?
That's the list.
Wow.
One to
So
nine.
just to recap, can you take us from 9 up to 1?
Absolutely. All right, starting at nine, we have Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Empire Strikes Back, The Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, and Return of the Jedi.
Nice.
It's a good list.
Thank
It's a,
you.
Yeah.
ends
Thank
on
you
a
so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I literally jokingly said, I have so much to say, I might as well be a yo bro. And then you said, Let's get these plants out of the
Yeah.
group chat.
Yeah,
Good.
and I think you said you're like, I'll break like the Yo Bros glass ceiling. Like I'll be like the first female guest. And I'm like, actually, like our very first
Yeah,
guest was our friend Hannah.
Yeah.
that's
Um,
right.
For
yeah,
Tangled.
Tangled all those
And
years
what
ago.
a good movie to hear her thoughts on.
You
I'm
I should
trying to get
rewatch
her to
it.
watch these because she would love
You
Star
guys have watched
Wars.
them?
I don't think so, or she has like it's been a while, but
mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of men. I don't know.
there
It's
are. But like the woman is so good.
That's true. The woman is so good.
Yeah,
I don't know. If you didn't like Luke Skywalker, I can't imagine what she's gonna think of Luke
not.
Skywalker.
Yeah, would not like him, would not
Yeah.
approve.
All right. Well, it was great getting to talk to you. Well, like I'd love to have you on the show again.
Yeah.
We have great conversations off camera, the three of us, about movies
We
and
do.
stuff.
Mm.
So, but yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. We haven't really dedicated a video to just Star Wars ever, that I know of at least, and it was cool to dive into that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if no one has anything else to add. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, check back in. It's been a little while since we've uploaded. We've been a little busy, but hopefully over the summer we could get back on some sort of schedule. But yeah, thank you all so much. This was a lot of fun. Mariah, thank you again so much for coming out.
Yeah.
And we are the Obros, and until next time, we want to talk to you about stuff.